Namaskar, hello and welcome to NCERT's live phone-in program. This is an English session for class 10 students. The name of the book is First Flight and the topic that we are going to talk about in this particular session is The 100 Dresses. Unit 5, The 100 Dresses, Part 1. It's a long lesson, so I guess the expert has divided it into two parts, and today is the first part. If you have read the lesson and you have any queries, then please send it to us on our email ID, which is ciet.kishormunch@gmail.com. You can also call us with your queries on our toll-free numbers. The numbers are 1800 112199 and 1800 111 265. You're watching us on various channels like Swam Prabha's channel number 31 Kishore Munch. You're watching us on Tata Sky's channel number 756. On Dish TV the channel number is 950. On Airtel it's 440. On Videocon, channel number is 477. On DD Free Dish channel, the channel number is 128. And lastly, on Sun Direct, channel number is 793. So there are various mediums through which you're watching us, and you can send your queries along with it. So, and you're watching us on our YouTube channel as well. We can't miss that, can we? NCERT official. In the live chat box also you can write your queries, your questions, your suggestions, and if you want to share anything, any incident which is related to this chapter, then please share that as well. Let's meet our expert for this session. We have with us Professor Kirti Kapoor. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Ma'am is from Department of Education in Languages, NCERT. We are all set to begin this session, so let's start, ma'am. 100 Dresses. The name is very interesting.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yes, of course. So today I am going to take up the story from NCERT's English textbook First Flight for class 10, and the name of the story is The 100 Dresses. You can see on your screens that I have given the information about the lesson, right? Now before we begin with the lesson, let us talk about a few things. How do we generally judge people? You see, when we meet a person for the first time, how do we judge a person? By the profession,
right,
or by their personality, or by their wealth,
right?
These are some of the things. You can add more to it, or by their clothes that they are wearing, attitude also, or we judge them by their enduring value. Look at your screens, read it and tell me. I have written profession, wealth, clothes. You can add, like she said, attitude, like their personality,
body language,
or by their enduring values. Yes. What impresses us the most? Now let us explore, what do we understand by enduring? Enduring means long lasting, durable, everlasting, continuing, stable, constant, steady, steadfast, unwavering, unfaltering, long running, long term. These are all positive, but there can be a long suffering also, enduring pain. In the context of the pain also we sometimes use it. But if you look at the positive side of it, long lasting. It can be friendship, okay? It can be relationship, any relationship. Enduring can be anything. Let us explore the use of enduring. It can be enduring friendship, enduring personality, enduring greatness, enduring person, right? Or now this chapter, this particular lesson is about the main character The name of the main character is Wanda.
Wanda.
Wanda has an enduring disposition.
Okay.
She has an enduring disposition. So the overall personality. So you must be wondering who this person Wanda is.
Yeah.
So we have to keep all these things in mind before we take up the lesson. Now we come to the lesson, the 100 Dresses. This story is about a poor girl, a poor young girl. She is judged by her classmates. So what was their criteria for judging?
Clothes.
Her wealth, clothes. Yes, clothes. So all these things. They missed out on her enduring disposition. They missed out.
Okay.
Because at that age, you know, children are like that.
Yeah.
You know. And Wanda Petronuski is a girl who goes to school in an American town. And Wanda's classmates consider her different. Can you guess how they treat her? Can you guess? Without reading the story. Rather, I want you to open your books on page 63. Now I am going to begin the story. You listen to the story. I am not going to read line by line. I am only going to discuss, highlight the main points of the story, and then we will discuss some questions
Okay.
for our understanding of the text. So please open your books on page 64. But now my question to you is, can you guess, you know, how her friends, how Wanda's friends might be treating her?
Badly.
Okay, that is our you can say guess.
Guess.
Yeah, that's our guess. Never mind. Yes, can we have more guesses? Now for children, write down what you think. Okay, write down. We will come to the story.
Sure.
Now the story begins like this. Today is Monday. If you read the first very line on page 64. Monday, Wanda Petronuski was not in her seat. But nobody missed her. She was not missed by anyone. Not even the girls, Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun. You know, they used to have fun with her. They did not notice her absence, that she was not there in the school. And where she used to sit, Wanda always sat in the last seat in the corner. She would not come in the front of the class. She was generally a very silent child, a quiet child. You know, she would sit behind the boys also. And these boys were the rough boys. The author has written the word rough. Rough here means they were naughty. Okay. So they were naughty, they would make noise in the classroom, and they would bring lot of dirt and mud into the classroom.
Oh.
How? We can all understand. They might be playing outside and suddenly it is time for
The class.
And they have come without cleaning their shoes. Even Wanda would bring, it is written, Wanda would bring lot of caked mud with her feet. With her feet. Like that means she doesn't have shoes. With her feet. Maybe she's not wearing proper shoes and she's just wearing slippers or something else which is not clearly mentioned. So we come to know that Wanda is a quiet girl and her absence was not noticed by anyone, even by those two girls named Peggy and Maddie, okay, who would make fun with her. Please mark the words with her, then we will come to the explanation. And then came the next day. What happens the next day? That was Tuesday. Wanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. Again, the same thing happened. She was not missed by anyone. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie noticed that Wanda was not there. She was missing from the scene. Now I want you to observe these lines which I have also been emphasizing on. Have fun with her. Page 64, right? Sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. They had waited for Wanda to have fun with her, and she hadn't come. Then next on page 65, once again, they often waited for Wanda Petronuski to have fun with her. So time and again the author is laying emphasis on this, and you know, we start thinking, what must be the reason? Are they making fun of her or having fun with her? Are they playing with her? They are having nice time together. Okay, she might be good in some game, or they share something with each other. It's not that. So they did not miss her for 2 days, and we all know that she was a quiet child. She would not speak to anyone. Even if the class is roaring out with laughter, she would remain quiet, and she would sit at the back of the class. And we are also told that you know, she would always wear one dress, that blue faded dress, though it used to be clean, but only one dress. And Peggy and Maddie used to wear new dresses every day. So the first part of the text is over. Now is time for a few questions for our understanding. Sure. Now one question which I want you to think through the lesson, part 1 as well as part 2. Think through. Why do you think to have fun with her means? As we have already discussed, you know, fun with her means it's very positive, that you know, they are playing together, sharing things, sharing food, sharing books, so many things are there. But if they are making fun of her, then it is something serious. Now I have a few questions. Tanvi, can I request you to please read these questions?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, where in the classroom does Wanda sit and why? Where does Wanda live? What kind of place do you think it is? When and why do Peggy and Maddie notice Wanda's absence?
Yeah. Now the first question. As we all know, where in the class does Wanda sit and why?
She was sitting in the corner.
Yeah.
Never in the front.
Never in the front. At the back.
Back.
And why? Because she didn't have any
Friends.
She would not talk to anyone, and others also were not concerned about her or bothered about her. Like we are told, she was absent on Monday, she was not there on Tuesday, she was not there on Wednesday. So that means nobody really missed her or noticed that. Now the next question, where does Wanda live? It is mentioned here in the text. She used to come from Bogins Heights, which the author mentions was not a very elite locality.
Posh space.
So she was coming from a very simple locality. And what kind of place do you think it is? So it was not a posh locality. So she had simple background. The next question, when and why do Peggy and Maddie notice Wanda's absence?
Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
Yeah.
And why? Why do they notice her absence?
Because there was nobody to have fun with.
Yeah, to have fun with. Till now we do not know what do they do with her.
Yeah.
How do they treat her? Okay, are they really friends or they are not?
Yeah.
So they missed her on Wednesday only because they were missing her to have fun with, because this first part of the chapter finishes with this line only. They often waited for Wanda Petronuski to have fun with her. So I hope this part is clear.
Yeah, so far.
So let's move on to the next portion of this part 1.
Okay.
This particular part 1 is also divided into 3 sections.
Okay.
We have been able to cover the first section till now. We move on to the next section. Now we are told about in this section that, you know, children in the class found her name Wanda Petronuski very funny. They were not familiar. She was a Polish girl, okay, she had come from Poland, and therefore her name was like that. And those children were used to names like, it is written in the textbook, they were used to names like this: Thomas, Willie, Ellen. These are common names.
Typical American
names. Yes, typical American names. So they were used to those names, and they found her name very, very funny. So that was one thing to make fun of. And secondly, Wanda did not have any friends. She always wore a faded dress, though her dress was always clean, but she wore that blue same dress. And now Peggy and Maddie would ask her questions. How many dresses do you have, Wanda? How many dresses? Knowing fully well that she is wearing just one, the same dress every day, they would ask her, especially Peggy would ask her, how many dresses do you have, Wanda? So Wanda will say, I have 100 dresses, all lined up in my cupboard. So they would ask her, where have you kept them? So she would say, they are all lined up in my cupboard. Then next they would ask her, how many pairs of shoes do you have, Wanda? She would again say, 60 pairs. So Peggy would ask her, where are they? So she would say, they are kept lined up in the cupboard. And how many hats? And like that, Peggy would ask her all these questions, and everybody around her would laugh. So that is not having fun with her, that is making fun of her. You see, making fun of her. But you see, Maddie always wanted that Peggy should stop doing it. Because whenever after the school hours they would catch Wanda and ask her the same question every day. How many dresses do you have, Wanda? Is it a good thing? I don't think so. It is not a good thing, and children should not be like that. So that means, what is happening over here? Isn't it bullying? What do you think, children? It is bullying only, no?
Yeah.
You are troubling somebody. Teasing, bullying. So look at your screens. I have given the definition of bullying for understanding. Insulting or threatening. So is Peggy insulting towards Wanda? Yes, definitely she is. She is insulting as well as she is cruel, because she is hurting her. Though Wanda does not say anything, she remains quiet, and the writer says that there is stolidity in her face. There is calmness on her face. This word is given in your text, and the meaning is also given along with the text. So she remains absolutely calm. She does not change her expression. She does not feel bad. Peggy keeps on asking her, how many dresses do you have, how many shoes do you have? She keeps on asking. She's calm and quiet. And Peggy knows that Wanda is weak, Wanda is poor, so it is bullying only. So she's bullying. But then in the story, the author writes that Peggy otherwise was a nice person, nice girl. She was friendly with everybody. She could not see if any animal is hurt. But this is her other side of the personality. So like this it continued, and Wanda would always take things in her stride. So this section of the chapter is over. So we know what happened in the classroom and how they used to have fun with
Wanda.
Both Peggy and Maddie. Of course, Maddie never asked any question. In her heart of hearts, Maddie would feel Peggy should stop it. Peggy should not do this. So she mentions it.
In general, ma'am, if somebody is bullying another person and you're supporting her, then
you are a part.
You're equally
a part of the game.
Right.
So you are equally guilty, I should say.
Guilty.
Yes. So we have come to the end of this section questions. So the questions are on your screens. Now I would request Tanvi to read it.
Let us discuss in what way was Wanda different from the other children? Did Wanda have 100 dresses? Why do you think she said that she did? Why is Maddie embarrassed by the questions Peggy asks Wanda? Is she also like Wanda, or is she different?
Yeah. So let's discuss these questions. In what way was Wanda different from other children? Yes, she was very much different from other children. She was quiet. She would not say anything to anybody.
Yeah.
She would just come to school, learn and go back. But do you think Wanda had 100 dresses? Though we are not told about that in this section. We are told about in the coming section about those 100 dresses. But do you think she had or she didn't have? So we will read and we will come to know. Do you think she is telling a lie? I don't think she is telling a lie, because she is as we are told about Wanda, she is quiet, she is simple. She doesn't seem to be a liar.
Right.
So we will come to know in section 3 how we will find out. And then, why is Maddie always embarrassed by Peggy's questions? Because we are told in this section that even Maddie used to wear Peggy's old dresses. Peggy would hand over her dresses which she did not like to Maddie, and Maddie's mother would mend those. She would change the trimmings. Trimmings means the lace or hem part. She would change so that it looks different, and Maddie used to wear those dresses. Now Maddie was really afraid that if she tells Peggy not to do so, Peggy might start making fun of Maddie. So Maddie was also insecure. She was afraid. Okay, so this section is clear. Now we are going to move on to the
other section.
Then the next section, that is section number 3. Section 3 is that Mary was happy in her heart of hearts that she does not make fun of Wanda. It was only Peggy, but she was always standing with Wanda. She wished she had the nerve, the courage to write Peggy a note. So one fine day, after finishing her maths sums, the task that was given to her, she wrote a note to Peggy that, Peggy, please stop doing this. She mustered some courage. She didn't have the courage to speak with Peggy face to face, so she wrote a note. By the time she finished the note, Peggy came in. The moment she looked at her, she tore the note into pieces. She could not give it to her. She couldn't. So that means Maddie was really scared of
Peggy.
Now the next day has come. Wanda is still not there. She is not in the class. Now the task was given to all the students of that class were some art competition they were going to have.
Okay.
So the art competition, boys were given to make sketches of motorboats, and the girls were asked to make sketches of dresses. But now here I differ with the author a little bit. I think this is very a gender stereotype kind of a thing, but it used to be there. This story was written long back in the 20th century. But we used to say blue for boys and pink for girls. Now we don't say that. We don't say that. So even for drawing, girls can draw motorboats. They can take any profession. They can become astronauts. They can become scientists. They can become artists. They can become creative writers.
Even farmers.
Anything for that matter. But in that class, this was the task given to boys and girls. Maybe at that time, things were not very clear for everybody that these stereotypes should not be there. So that day was the display of all the works.
Okay.
So their teacher, Miss Mason, told everybody that in room number 13 was their classroom where they all used to sit and learn, and also they were naughty in that class. So it's been displayed and you can see, and then at the end they will announce the results. So the students went in. they saw that there were 100 sketches of dresses put all over the classroom.
Okay.
100 sketches, and they were beautiful drawings, different types of drawings, different colors. And the room was, it is written, look at your screens, I have taken the quote from the text, that the minute they entered the classroom, they stopped short and gasped. There were drawings all over the room, and on every edge, on every windowsill, on every corner of the room, and they were made on sheets of the wrapping paper. Sheets of the wrapping paper. So that means that it was not a drawing sheet. So Wanda must have collected those wrapping papers, and she must have drawn on those papers.
Yeah.
Now, I have also brought a few sketches for you. Maybe they look like that. So this is just my imagination. Now let's move on to the next slide. There must have been 100 of them lined up together,
Okay.
and they were all drawings for the competition. And I am very happy to say that Wanda Petronaski is the winner of the girls' medal. She won the medal. That was the announcement made by the teacher.
Okay.
And then, Mary says, you see, there is a blue dress. Once we asked her, describe the dress. So she said there is a blue dress with this kind of trimmings. And then you also asked her, describe another dress. She described a dress. She said it is a green dress with a red sachet. And you told her that, somebody who wears this kind of a dress would look like a Christmas tree. So again they made fun of her.
Okay.
Instead of appreciating the color scheme. This is the story of.
That means she was not lying.
She was not lying. Yes, there you are. That is what I wanted to tell tell the learners, that she was not lying. She actually had those 100 dresses lined up in her cupboard. And you see, fashion designers these days, they first make sketches and they put them for display. Once their sketches are approved by the public or by the people who want those dresses, then only they start stitching it. So this is a profession by itself. And this is the dialogue which they share, Maddie and Peggy. Look at your screens. Look, Peg, you can read the dialogue. Yes.
Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There's that blue one she told us about. Isn't it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And here's that green one. Boy, and I thought I could draw.
Yeah. So they were taking hints from her. And Peggy thought she would draw, but she was not able to draw.
Yeah.
Now we have come to the end of the section. Now we know she actually had those 100 dresses.
So
And she didn't tell.
there are certain viewers who are watching this session along with us, and they have read this lesson and they were answering each and everything which you were asking.
That's nice. I'm happy to learn that. Keep up your efforts. Please share this with them.
Yes.
Now we have come to the comprehension section. There are few questions on your screen. Let us discuss these questions. Now, Tanvi, I want you to read these questions.
Ma'am. Why didn't Maddie ask Peggy to stop teasing Wanda? What was she afraid of? Who did Maddie think would win the drawing contest and why? Who won the drawing contest? What had the winner drawn?
Now we know all these
We do.
questions, but we must discuss for the benefit of the students who are, with us. Why didn't Maddie ask Peggy to stop
Teasing
her? Because Maddie was also afraid of Peggy.
Yeah.
That she might, start telling about her that Maddie also wears
Her
Peggy's dresses. So that is one. And who did Maggie think that would win the contest? They were all thinking Peggy would win because Peggy had also submitted her drawings. But in the end, who wins it? It is Wanda. And she had actually drawn those 100 sketches of different types of dresses. So with this we have come to the end of this part 1, and I hope this is clear to you. The meanings of the difficult words are given along the text. Well, if you come across any difficult word, please refer to the dictionary, because you must learn to refer to the dictionary and find out the meaning as per the context of the text. Now here I would like to tell you something about the writer, the author. As you all know, her name is Albizu Esther. She is a renowned writer, and this story, The 100 Dresses, is actually based on her life experience.
Okay.
And who do you think she is among these 3 girls? Wanda, Maddie or Peggy? She's Maddie.
She's Maddie.
She's Maddie, not Wanda or Peggy. And she was guilty all along. Then when she grew up and she started writing stories, she used to work in children's library.
Okay.
And also she used to write for children. She has written many stories for children. And this particular story is based on her life experience. She was Maddie, and there was a girl who had come from Poland and was staying in the US and was in their school. And there was another girl who used to make fun of her, not with her. And she has written this story with the hope that one fine day these 2 girls might come across this story, and that is her way of, expressing her guilt and, saying sorry.
Yeah.
Saying sorry. So this is the true story.
So throughout the story, Maddie never confesses.
Till now, part 2 we do not know. I do not want to declare it as yet. So we will come to know when I take up part 2. But if children, you want to know about it, please read it on your own.
Yes.
I will not stop you. So she has written many other stories like Ginger Pie, the Moffat series, The Echoing Green, and she has won Newbery Medal for her writing for the story The Ginger Pie. So therefore I wanted to share this much for you about the author. And if you want to know more about it, you can Google her. You will find that a lot has been written about her. And another thing, this particular story is very popular all over the world. It is part of many school curriculums.
Okay.
And children enact this story, because through this story, through the role play, through the dramatization of this story, the point, the point of bullying is brought forward for the children to appreciate that, to understand that this should not be done in any school. And as we all know, schools have, counselors, PTA meetings, etc. If children are being bullied, they can always share their concern with the counselor or with their parents. Then in PTA meeting, it can be discussed. But you have to rise up against bullying. You should not take it lying down.
Right.
Okay, speak up. Right, speak up. So we move on to the language part now, working with language. There are some examples of adverbs on your screen. Tanvi, would you like to read these words?
Sure, ma'am. Some examples of adverbs are apparently, evidently, surprisingly, possibly, hopefully, incredibly, luckily. So use these words appropriately in the blanks in the sentences.
So there are a few sentences which are part of your textbook activity also, and I have filled in those blanks for you to understand where to use them and how to use it.
Okay.
I will just read out a couple of examples for you.
Sure.
Now, surprisingly, he finished his work on time. Evidently, he had been stealing money from his employer. I can't possibly lend you that much money. Let's move on to the next slide. Yes, the thief had been watching the house for many days. The water was incredibly hot. So I have given a little usage of the adverb, a word or a phrase that modifies or qualifies an adjective, verb or other adverb, or a word group expressing a relation to place, time, circumstance, manner, cause or degree. So that is called an adverb. Like if I say she swims quickly. So quickly is here used as an adverb. It qualifies the action of swim.
Right.
Right. So I have other examples also, like for example the word hard. This bed is hard. So this is adjective. They are describing about the bed. I am working hard. So working hard here has been used as an adverb. So I hope it is clear to the students.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next task. Now this is a writing task for our students. It's an important task. Imagine you are going to make a career out of your hobby. So maybe you know this sketching dresses was the hobby of Wanda Petronaski. What sort of things will you need to learn? You are now in class 10. Now you can give your hobby the shape of your profession. You can write a paragraph or two on this topic after consulting an expert or doing reference work, research on your chosen area. So here, whatever you choose, you have to either talk to a person who is already working in that area or do some research. Then write a paragraph.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Now if you want to become an astronaut, fine. Fashion designer, that is also perfect for us. Right? Doctor, engineer, fine. Or a creative writer. If you want to become a creative writer, you talk to a writer.
Yeah.
Right? And then write. Now I have a project work for you. Right? This project work is based on the dresses of India. Dresses of India.
Okay.
Let's move. We take a walk in all the states.
Sure.
Each region has its own dress.
Yes.
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 They have their dress. It's part of their culture. Now, what are the names of these traditional dresses? Now you have to do some research over here.
Yeah.
You cannot write just like that. Which type of thread or cloth is used to make them? Now when they are traditional dresses, obviously they are not using synthetic thread.
Yeah.
They might be using cotton, wool, silk,
anything
of that matter, or even jute. Okay, so you have to find out. Now write a detailed description of the dresses of each region of our country. So this is the project. Please do this project. Share it with your teacher. Share it with your friends. And also share it with us. We would like to have a look at it. Share your writing task also with us.
Right.
So we have come to the end of this session now.
Thank you so
thank
much,
you.
ma'am. And this is a great task. So I'm going to do it as well.
You are welcome.
Thank you so much for participating in this session. We saw your comments, we saw your answers, and you were amazing. And along with ma'am, you too have read the story, but I haven't. Possibly in the next part, I'll be reading the story as well. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here and for explaining this wonderful story to our viewers.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Don't go anywhere. We are coming back in a short while with another English session. Topic would be I want. That is the name of the lesson for class 2nd students. Thank you so much and take care of yourself. Namaste.
Namaskar.